everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about a Season 2 director that the Wheel of Time revealed to us the first day of shooting of Season 2, and that was 2 days ago, July 19th. So we're going to talk a bit about him, his career, and what he brings to the table. We're going to talk just a bit about this photo we have here on the screen, what it reveals, if at all anything. I know people want to break this down and just go through each minute detail that's in the background, but I think it looks awfully familiar to me, so there's that. And then we're going to talk about a few other things, including this Friday's Comic-Con panel and what I expect from Rafe. So, all that being said, before we get into the video, I am running a 10,000 subscriber contest that's going to start very, very shortly. You should see a trailer. Yes, I have a trailer being made for this later this week, maybe this weekend, about what the prize is and what the contest entails. But essentially, if you're not a subscriber, you won't be entered. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and actually subscribe to the channel. All right, all that being said, spoiler warning. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the director for Season 2, Episode 1, of the Wheel of Time. I'm going to make a few speculative points here and there, so I may ruin a small amount of plot points and character arcs from The Great Hunt. Other than that, it's pretty much a spoiler-free video. Alright, that being said, let's get on to the video. Alright, so July 19th, 2021 was the first day of filming for Season 2, Episode 1 of The Wheel of Time. Now, we kind of already knew this based on the fact that the extras agencies were looking for people for that date, as well as there was casting calls out for stand-ins for who we believe to be the Tracans. Now, we're not entirely sure in that, although the descriptions seem to fit them, and we do know that they will factor into Season 2 because the evidence points to the fact that they're not in Season 1. They'll probably be introduced early Season 2. So, we were going under the assumption that July 19th was the start date, but the Wheel of Time Twitter did not disappoint, and they tweeted this image out on that day, and it included a little bit of new information that we're going to talk about here, and they basically said today's the start date of Season 2, and they're pretty excited about it. Now, we knew that David Moxness was the cinematographer. That is not a big shock or a big reveal for us. However, we didn't know the director. Now, Thomas Napper is listed on here as the director of Season 2, Episode 1. Now, that's A Place of Solitude. So, we know a little bit about that episode. We know the title because they did basically tweet a while ago now the title of that episode completely by mistake. That was not intentional, but that's pretty much it. So we're going to talk just a bit about what I think is going to be in that episode, what is going on there, and who Thomas is. So we'll talk about Thomas first. Now, Thomas is a very experienced director. He was born in 1970. He started working in the movie business around 97, and he's been a second unit director for a ton of really well-known projects. Even people who don't watch movies or who aren't big movie buffs are going to recognize a lot of the things he's worked on. Here's just a quick snapshot of his IMDb, and if you don't recognize at least two of those movies, I don't know what you've been doing. So The Darkest Hour has Gary Oldman in it. It's a fantastic movie. If you get a chance to watch it, please do so. It's really, really very good. However, Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin are both huge Disney blockbusters, and he was second unit director on both of those. So he had a big hand in directing them. Now, they are really well done, really critically acclaimed, and beautiful, absolutely stunning movies visually. So if you didn't like them, if you didn't like the way it was handled, if you didn't like the writing or anything else like that, you can't deny the fact that visually they were absolutely stunning, and part of that has to do with the director and how they block things out and do things. So Thomas, he's really good. Now, we took a look at this. This is filmography. He's done everything from movies to TV to blockbusters to commercials. So he's very well experienced, and he's done all kinds of things. Now, we're going to talk just a bit about what we know about this particular episode. Now, we know the title is A Place of Solitude. Now, that directly relates to a chapter title in Lord of Chaos, which there's no way they're getting to, especially in the first episode of Season 2. That's not going to happen. Where I think they're going to be is the beginning of the Hunt for the Horn, and A Place of Solitude probably refers to the fact that Rand and company are going to go to a mirror world. Now, we know that's going to happen probably at some point or another if they follow the books. And we know that in the first season, they mostly follow the book story. However, there are some changes to places, times, some additions, some subtractions, things like that, although the core of the story is completely the same. Even though we know almost nothing about episodes 7 and 8, we do know they go to Faldera, we do know they go to the Blight, and we do know there's a battle at Tarwin's Gap. And that's pretty much all we know. We don't know much else other than that. So that leaves them at starting of Season 2, where they're probably going to go on the Hunt for the Horn. And I would guess that by the end of that episode, it's probably a really good cliffhanger to have Rand disappear, flip over to the mirror world with Huron, and have to deal with all the stuff over there and meet Selene. So there's that. Now, I've been told, now, take this with a grain of salt because I have no evidence to support this whatsoever. It's just come up in conversation a couple of times with people who should know that they're going to do blocks again in season 2. Now, it makes sense to me at least because in season 1 they did blocks. That is, they had a director do 2 episodes at once. It was sort of like a mini movie, 2-ish hours, and they could flow together and they had a lot of creative control. Now, if they do that again, that does mean that Tom Snapper is probably going to be a director for episode 1 and 2. Which leads a few of the other directors that we've mentioned in other videos to maybe do episode 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8 if they follow the same format as season 1. Now, I know a lot of you are expecting me to pick apart this picture, so we're going to do that right now. There is some stuff in the background that looks awfully familiar to me, so let's take a look. All right, so this is the photo that was tweeted out. It has a ton of stuff in it. We'll talk about the clapper first, and then we'll move on to what really is the most interesting bits of the background. Now, I know most of you expected an hour and a half video from me tearing apart everything in here, but I don't think it's going to take that long. It's pretty grainy, it's out of focus, and there's some stuff there, but there's not a whole lot. But there is a little bit of information here. So the clapper itself has a bunch of stuff on there, but I want to focus on 2 different things. Thomas Snapper is the director. I believe they 100% knew what they were doing when they released this. We knew it was going to happen. But we also have the Wheel of Time written out in the Wheel of Time font that they're using, as well as the Wheel of Time symbol. Now, to me, they both look kind of like a piece of tape or something that was taped on there. However, we have seen clappers in the past from leaked set photos, and they did not include these things, so I'm guessing that this stuff was a relatively new development. So when they did finally release that it was coming in 2021, they didn't have a logo and stuff until then. That's my guess. Let me know in the comments down below what you folks think. The rest of the stuff in the clapper, to me, isn't super interesting other than the fact that they're doing a certain scene. It's the first take of that scene. Scene 2 means the second scene that they're doing, so this is not going to be the opening sequence of the episode, which, I mean, totally makes sense. They're going to show whatever they have on hand, and the date, July 19th. Now, what I want to talk about is the background. So I'm going to list off the things I see, and then I'm going to talk about what I think they mean. So if I happen to miss anything at all, and I want you folks to let me know in the comments down below things I've missed, and I want your thoughts on them as well, because as much as I love doing this, I love hearing other people's opinions as well, especially if they're different than mine, because it helps me think about what's going on here. So what we see is we see big gray stone blocks in the background with what looks to be stone trim next to it. Just to the right of that, I think this is a windowsill. Now, it looks like a giant window, perhaps a balcony, with what looks to be a potted plant over the left-hand side, and then some greenery in the background. Now, in that greenery in the background, you see some trees and stuff like that, but I see what appears to be a tower right there, kind of like the far right of the screen, or a very tall building. At the very least, it's a spire of some sort. It is not a tree. It is not foliage. It's not anything else like that. It is definitely a constructed thing, a shadow. And then in the foreground, we're talking about the foreground a bit. We have a table. On this table, we have some candles. It's in a candelabra. We have a bowl next to it with something in it. I would guess that they look like eggs to me, or perhaps rolls. Next to that is a potted plant. Could be herbs, could be other things like that, but I would say this is probably for aesthetic purposes. It's probably a potted plant like you'd put as a centerpiece. Then it appears to be cutlery or something silver on the table next to it. Maybe a bowl there that kind of looks like a bowl next to that. And then what appears to be a water pitcher on top of all of it, a tablecloth or maybe some very nice napkins. So that's what I see in the picture. Now I'm going to talk about what I think it means. Now, I will tell you what I am sure it isn't. I am sure it isn't Faldera. So this is just a little too nice for Faldera. The set pictures and things we've seen, a little too dark. It's a fortress. It's built in the Borderlands to defend against the last Trolloc attack or a Shadow Spawn attack, the last line of defense, so to speak. So having a big open arched balcony like this really, to me, doesn't make much sense. So I don't think it's Faldera. I don't think it's a village or a town or an inn, mainly because this looks too nice. So you have very big stone blocks, stone trim, a huge balcony, potted plants, a very nice looking table, a very nice looking tablecloth on top of it, a candelabra, and nice implements on top. Now I'm saying nice, I mean high quality. So this is not something that someone who has no money would have. This is a wealthy place. So that leads me to believe this is somewhere affluent, whether it be a castle. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We all expect the Trocans to show up in Season 2. So I'm kind of hoping this is a castle. This could also be perhaps a very, very affluent stone inn. it's possible. The White Tower comes to mind. We've seen that sort of stonework in the background of some of the Tar-Valon pictures, so it could possibly be the tower. And we do know that they have introduced the White Tower in Season 1 and Tar-Valon in Season 1, so I'm hoping they're doing more of it in Season 2. At the very least, I don't believe that we're going to see any of our Emond's Fielders, or the characters that we already know of in this scene, unless it's a flashback or something else. Possibly Moraine, possibly Lan in this scene, but I think we're going to see new people in this one. And I believe, in my heart of hearts, we're probably going to see Elaine in this one here, if not Gowan or Galad, or some amalgamation of the 2 or 3 characters, depending upon how they write it in. Mainly because it's an affluent area, we're going to talk about them, we're introducing them, I think they're going to become a major component of Season 2, and I think this picture does that. Now, again, this is pure speculation. I have no inside information whatsoever. However, that's what I'm getting out of this. Let me know in the comments down below what you folks think. Am I even close to the mark? Do you think it's an affluent area? Do you think it could possibly be the White Tower? I do see the spire in the background. Is this a super nice inn in Tar-Valon, maybe? I don't know. Let me know. All right, folks, well, that's all I have for you today. We went through the new director and what I think is going to happen there. So now I'm going to do a little bit of speculation before we end the video, and that's about Comic-Con this Friday. So we know the panel is at 11 a.m. Pacific. I think I said 11 p.m. in my last video, which is completely wrong. So set your watches, set your alarms. It happens on the San Diego Comic-Con at Home YouTube channel. It's free to watch. Anyone can watch it. Rafe will be on a panel, and it's an Amazon panel. So they're doing all kinds of different things in the panel. I suspect that Rafe may be one of the last people on the panel to actually talk, and from what I've heard, he's got about 10 minutes or so. I don't know if we'll get a trailer. I know the people over at Dragonmount are telling us basically they are thinking 100% no trailer, no nothing at this. However, it is a very big place for them to advertise the show, and if they don't do a full trailer, we know that Rafe has said by the end of the summer we will get a trailer. He said that specifically in a message to the people at JordanCon. This is before the end of the summer, but if he said before the end of the summer, maybe he means later on. We don't know. It's all speculation. If we don't get a trailer at San Diego Comic-Con, I'm hoping at least we get a teaser, some sort of sizzle reel, something, maybe even the actual physical release date of the show, which would be fantastic, whether the fact they're doing a weekly, a drop all at once, or some sort of mixture, 2 or 3 episodes at once and then weekly afterwards. I'm hoping they'll tell us this stuff at the panel and maybe do a couple more castings. Now, I will let you know that I fully expect that as we get closer to the end of the summer, we're going to see more and more Wheel of Time related stuff from the Twitter handle, from the Instagram folks, and from other various big media outlets. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff because they haven't really pushed it marketing-wise so far, and we're getting close. So I'm guessing we're going to start seeing a ton of stuff, and you may start seeing a lot more videos from me, so make sure you subscribe to that channel. And again, look for that trailer from me later on this week, showcasing my 10,000 subscriber prizes, and you definitely are going to want to be entered, so subscribe to the channel for that. All right, all that being said, thank you so much for sticking with me here to the very end, and here's to many more.